a number most gas station owners will never say out loud to a customer. On the gallon you just pumped, they made less profit than they'd make selling you a single candy bar. You'd never guess it standing at the pump. 10 nozzles going, cars rotating through every couple of minutes, a sign flashing prices that go up every few weeks. It looks like a business built entirely around fuel. It isn't. Fuel is closer to the bait than the business. Start with what you're actually buying if you ever bought one of these places. You're not just buying pumps. You're buying underground steel tanks holding thousands of gallons of flammable liquid, permits to sell fuel, lottery licenses, liquor licenses, and, depending on the deal, a contract that locks you into buying fuel from one specific supplier for years. And the ownership structure changes everything about what you're signing up for. Some owners own the land, the store, and the tanks outright and keep every dollar left after expenses. Others pay a franchise fee of $30,000 to $50,000 just to put a brand name like Shell or Chevron on the sign, plus royalties every month on top of that, in exchange for national marketing and a guaranteed fuel supply. Others don't own the land at all. They lease it under what's called a triple net lease, meaning they cover the rent, the property taxes, the insurance, and the maintenance, while a separate investor just collects a check. Same storefront on the same street corner. 3 completely different financial realities underneath. Now, follow the actual gallon. Crude oil gets pumped out of the ground, shipped to a refinery, turned into gasoline, piped to a regional terminal, then trucked to the station's underground tanks. Every stop along that chain takes its cut before a driver ever pulls in. Here's where the math gets uncomfortable for the owner. According to the Oil Price Information Service, the national average fuel margin, the gap between wholesale cost and pump price, sits around 35.7 cents per gallon. That's the gross number, before anything else is subtracted. Credit card processing alone eats roughly 8 cents of that on every gallon, since the vast majority of fuel purchases go through a card. Add labor, electricity, and equipment upkeep, and the National Association of Convenience Stores puts real net margin closer to 10 to 15 cents a gallon. Some industry analyses put it far lower, as thin as 1 to 3% net margin overall, which on today's prices works out to just a few cents a gallon in leaner conditions. Run the volume. Sell 100,000 gallons in a month at 12 cents net, that's $12,000 for an entire month. Before rent, before the loan, and here's why that margin stays so thin. It's not an accident, it's geography. Research out of UC Berkeley's Energy Institute defines a station's real competitive market as every other station reachable within roughly a 3-minute drive. Industry data shows most stations have at least one direct competitor essentially next door and 1 or 2 more within half a mile. Fuel is one of the most price-transparent products that exists. A driver can read the competitor's price from the road before deciding which driveway to turn into. So, the moment one station drops its price a few cents, everyone around it has to match or lose volume. That's why margins on the fuel side almost never expand for long, no matter how busy the pumps look. So, where does the actual money come from? According to NECAS's most recent 2025 industry data, fuel accounts for 65% of a convenience store's total sales, but only 38.8% of its gross profit. The store itself brings in a much smaller share of total sales but delivers the majority of the profit dollars. Food service alone contributed nearly 39% of total in-store gross profit in 2025, a category that's grown from just 4.4% of in-store sales 2 decades ago to close to 30% today. A cup of brewed coffee costs a station roughly 25 cents to make in beans, cup, and lid. It sells for $3 to $5. That's a margin most restaurants would kill for. This is precisely why chains like Wawa built an entire brand identity around made-to-order sandwiches, why Casey's has quietly become one of the largest pizza sellers in the country, operating entirely out of gas stations, and why Sheetz runs digital ordering kiosks like a fast food chain instead of a fuel stop. None of them are hiding it. They've simply accepted that they're food retailers who happen to sell gasoline out front. And the smart operators don't stop at food. A car wash sitting on the same lot can run nearly around the clock with minimal staffing. And real business listings show car wash revenue alone pulling in over $30,000 a month at a well-run station, with gross margins on automated washes regularly exceeding 50%. Lottery terminals generate a commission on every ticket sold, typically 5 to 6%, but they also pull in steady repeat foot traffic from regular players. One real listing showed a single station pulling nearly $19,000 a month in lottery revenue alone. ATMs earn a flat commission per withdrawal with almost zero ongoing cost. And now, EV charging is entering the mix. A well utilized DC fast charger can generate $3,000 to $5,000 a month per port in 2026. And the real prize isn't even the charging fee itself. It's the 20 to 40 minutes a driver spends waiting, walking into the store, buying coffee, buying food, browsing the shelves. That's the longest, most profitable visit a station can capture. None of that works, though, if the location is wrong. Traffic experts in the industry generally look for sites carrying somewhere around 30,000 vehicles a day on a major road. With easy entry and exit, a physical median blocking left turns can cut how many drivers actually pull in by half, because almost nobody makes a U-turn just to buy gas. Corner locations at a signalized intersection perform better than mid-block spots simply because stopped traffic has time to notice the price and decide to turn. Get the site right, and the fuel margin barely matters because the volume and the store both benefit. Get it wrong, and no amount of operational skill fixes it. There's also a risk sitting underground that almost no customer thinks about. Every station is required to maintain double-walled underground storage tanks, continuous leak monitoring, and vapor recovery systems under EPA regulation. The EPA has recorded well over 500,000 confirmed leaks from underground tank systems nationwide over the program's history, with tens of thousands of sites still awaiting cleanup. Average remediation cost per contaminated site runs well over $100,000. And if it reaches groundwater, that number can climb into the millions. Buy an existing station and you can inherit contamination a previous owner caused, sometimes without knowing it exists until a tank is dug up. Put a real station's numbers side by side. A mid-sized location moving 100,000 gallons a month might clear something like $12,000 to $15,000 in net fuel profit for the entire month. Compare that to real business listings for stations that pair fuel with a strong store, car wash, and lottery program. Some report annual net profits well over $1.5 million, built almost entirely on the diversified income sitting beside the pumps, not the pumps themselves. That's the part almost nobody clocks driving past. The pumps get you onto the lot, the lights, the wages, the insurance, the loan payment. Those get covered by the coffee machine, the car wash, the lottery terminal, and increasingly the charging port out front, not the nozzle in your hand. Next time you pull in for gas, look past the price on the sign. Look at the size of the food counter. Look at whether there's a car wash, a charging station, a made-to-order counter. That's not a side hustle bolted onto a fuel stop. According to the numbers, that's an actual business. And the gasoline is what gets you to walk through the door.